All right, yeah, we're good to start. Hello, everyone. I'm Varun Poladia from navan.ai, and welcome to this webinar again. If you've joined our previous webinars, then welcome again to the next edition of our webinar series on innate and automation and generative AI. So, quickly to give you an introduction, those who know about navan.ai, great. For those who have joined in for the first or the second time, probably, I'll just quickly give you an introduction about navan.ai. We are a generative AI solutions company. We are headquartered in Singapore, and typically we help businesses, B2B businesses, with oh, just okay, all right. So we typically help B2B businesses with multiple things, including automation, right? So one of the things that we do is buying signals, or we help businesses to find buying signals for the prospects that they would want to sell something to, or they would want to market something to. And then on a broader level, what we also help businesses with is automation of different processes and workflows that they have. So currently, we're focusing more on marketing and sales workflows, but then it's not just limited to that because ultimately technology is where we have our expertise in, and we can help with automation, workflow automation in not just sales and marketing, but also in operations, HR, and so on. So that's a brief about us, and today we're going to be talking about in building an automation workflow using N8N and generative AI, which can generate proposals for you. So what happens usually is, uh, I'll just give a brief because Malavika has a lot in depth and great details to talk about. So usually when you have a deal from the customer, or you're talking to a customer and you're in the process of securing a deal, you have to generate several proposals, and that takes a lot of time. So we found out that, from our experience as well, and that's a problem that we also used to experience. So we found out that generative AI can help very well in this process, and that's what we're going to demonstrate today. How you can also leverage this workflow for your business, and if you want to customize it, if you want to deploy it for your business, always we'd be happy to help you out and customize it or deploy for your workflows, for your processes, and the way you may be using it. So, not taking a lot of time from here, I'll hand it over to Malavika to continue from here. Malavika is our AI engineer, and she's our go-to person for anything related to automation and N8N. She's been working on N8N. She has created several N8N workflows for various use cases, and she is the one who's going to be taking you through this webinar today. She's going to be explaining more and showing a demo as well. So again, thank you all for joining, and over to you, Malvika.
Thank you so much, Varun. So good afternoon, everyone. Malavika here. So just like Varun said, now before we start off, let's take a quick reality check. How many of you have ever delayed sending a proposal just because it felt too overwhelming to write from scratch, whether you're in sales, consulting, or marketing? So, a proposal creation is one of those tasks that we know is important, but it eats up way more time than we would like. We end up copying content from old decks, tweaking some parts, and hoping that it's customized enough for the new lead. And if you're juggling between multiple leads, then hours every week goes down the drain. Now, the problem is not just the time here. It is also the consistency. Some proposals may sound very polished and some don't. So some will explain the offer very clearly and some are just a mess. So in some cases, we are humans after all, so we might miss out points also. But in a fast-paced sales environment, speed plus clarity is what gives trust. So the slower and the messier your proposal is, the less confident that the buyer will feel in you, right? So that's when an AI proposal generator comes in. So instead of writing, all you have to do is fill in some key details, like we'll talk about in a form, and the system drafts a complete proposal that sounds tailored, clear, and professional. So what I'll be showing today is a live demo of how this works using N8N. So the system we have built, which it can basically take form inputs, we'll be having some variables and you just have to fill up the form. And then once you click send, it will generate the proposal for you and it will also send it over to the client. So after the demo, I'll also walk you through like something important. There are two kinds of proposal generator systems that you can approach. I would say two approaches to generating a proposal. So both have different use cases. I'll just come to that after the demo. Now let's go to the demo. I'll just switch to the N8N platform. Yeah, I hope it's visible. Yeah, okay. So, like I said, we have to start with a form input only. But right now, the main part here will be our OpenAI node, the prompts that we'll be giving in, and that is going to be our main part. So let's first work on that. Then we'll attach a form in the beginning and work. For now, I'll just use a manual trigger. So, for anyone who's not aware, a manual trigger is normally used only in testing. It is used to when you don't know what trigger you want to, like you just want to first work the workflow. You don't know if it's a schedule trigger or a form trigger or something. So, you just use this for testing, basically, I would say. You execute this and it works, right? It begins, it triggers the workflow. Now, following that, we will use the OpenAI node, right? So in the OpenAI node, first thing to do is now this since I've selected message a model, that's exactly what I'll be doing here, messaging a model. For now, I'll choose GPT-4o Mini. Uh, you can choose whatever you want according to your needs, but right now it's both cost effective and performs well. So I'll use that since we'll have to do a lot of uh, performing like here in this case. Okay, so the first step that we'll be working on here is a system prompt. System prompt is where you're giving your system or your agent a role, right? So for that, we'll be using something simple like you are a helpful, intelligent writing assistant. So that's what I'll give it here. You are a helpful, intelligent writing assistant. So that's the role I'm giving it, right? So once you're done with the system prompt that you're given, then comes the user prompt. So user prompt is where you're giving context, where you're telling it what it has to do, and basically, yeah, to give it an idea. So it's kind of a longer prompt. So I'll show you the prompt, and then we'll discuss it step by step as to how we'll got to that, right? So this is our user prompt now. Yeah. So first of all, I have told what is its task. So your task is to generate a proposal using input data from a form. So this proposal should be highly customized, specific, and high quality. Consider we're going to be sending it immediately after you're done. It's just how you would talk to a person, an employee of yours, and you tell them this is how the proposal should be generated at the end. So that's how you're going to tell the agent also, and you have to give it a context as to who you are, so that it also uh, gives the output according to that, right? And then, before I explain all these variables and how we'll be going ahead, I'll just show you an example prompt that I have. So this, based on this, this is literally the base of our workflow today. Yeah, I hope my PPT is seen. Yeah, okay. So if you'll have a look at this, now this is a mess. If I would not say mess, like it's not something you would understand. Why is there title case? Why is there variable names here? So what I'm trying to do through this agent is that I have a template. If this template is not very good, please ignore it. It's just a draft. It's this rough template I have designed for the purpose of the webinar. I have variables here. Now you have a title, you have a description. These are all the important variables to be filled in for each lead, right? You have the proposal title, you have the problem statement, you have solutions in detail, you have the headings, you have the descriptions, you also have the scope, you have timeline, and you have the cost. So for your use case, you can have multiple variables, you can add whatever you want. For now, These are the list of variables that I'll be using. What I'll be doing is that I will give the prompt to OpenAI in such a way that it generates all these variables based on my form inputs. And once all those values are generated, I'll create a copy of this PPT and of this example template. I'll create a copy of it and fill in all those details there. Within seconds, you'll have that. Within a minute, you'll have that. So we'll come to that. So this is the proposal template example that we'll be using. Okay, now let's get back to our anytime. Yeah. So now that you saw all that, you'll have a better understanding of how this works. So the proposal template we are using has many fields. So I'm giving it the list of the fields that it has to return. So whatever I filled in the example, the variable names I've given, all those variables I've given here. I have given it a set of rules also as to how it has to behave, how the output should be, right? The way the values. So it should be a casual tone of voice, be to the point, ensure all the fields are filled out, obviously, because we don't want to miss out on anything and have empty variable somewhere. That would be too early. Then we say keep it short, and yeah, these are some of the variables, right? So this is our user prompt that we'll be giving. Now, once we have these two, the next part is our input and output structure. If you want your agent to have a complete understanding, that is also very important so that it understands how to work. So for the input structure, I'll give it an example. I am taking navan.ai as example. So that will again be an use. Now input is basically a user's input, right? User prompt, which is why the role here, which has assumed as user. For that, now when you have once you have your example template ready and all that, once you have the end part ready, you should know what should be the form inputs. Now, it can depend on your use case or your company, but I would say like the company name, the website URL, the problem, solution, the scope. These are some of the important variables that should go into the form, correct? So that is what I'm telling in the uh, the prompt that I have here. Again, I'll just show it to you. I have it here. So if you'll see here, I have the company name, I have the problem statement, I have the solution, I have the scope, I have the current date. Current date, you don't need to give like this. There is a variable by which you can just give the current date. We'll get to that. How soon you want the agent or you want the output to be ready for the client, and the deposit cost, correct? So this is an example of a user input that I'm telling the agent that when they receive an input, this is how it is going to look like, right? So anybody has any doubt? No? Okay. I'm sorry for that. Okay. Yeah. So this is an example of the user prompt, correct? Now, like I said, we have to give the input and output structure. I'm done giving the input structure. Now I'll be giving the output structure. For that, I'll be using something called the assistant. So if you can see here, it tells the model to adopt a specific tone or personality. Now, all these variables that you have saw here, now it should understand how do we fill. So if these are the inputs, how is it that I have to fill these variables? It might not understand solution heading 1. So if we give it a context, if we give it an output structure, then it will be able to understand for any use case how it has to fill in these variables or how it has to approach them, correct? So now let us look at an example of that also. Right. So what I have told is that once these are the input values, I want the output structure to be like this. I want the proposal title this way. I want the description name to be this, the problem summary, solution heading, the description, all the variables. I am just giving it so that it understands as to how it should approach, how it should give the output, correct? So we have the system prompt here, we have our user prompt, we have our input structure, and we have our output structure. Now, finally, the last part, I know it's a little long, but this is the main part of our agent. Once this is done, it's set, like it'll be done. So in the user prompt will be our inputs. For now, since I don't have a form, I'm just going to take an example. This is what we'll be using going forward. Okay. Um, so yeah, now this is how it is going to be. The variables. You have your company name, you have your problem, you have your solution, you have your scope, current date, how soon, deposit cost, and all these variables like this. I'll just show you the form also. And if you'll see the current date, uh, there are many ways to format this date. However you want, you can do it. But I want it this way: July 24th, comma 2025. So for that, this is the format. If you want the whole UTC format, if you will see, all you have to do is if you just give dollar now and you run it. So if you see that, you'll get the whole date, the time, and this as well. So you'll get everything. If you don't want that, you can format it however you want. This is how I want it, so that's how I have given it. Okay. Now, once we are set with these, now these variables we have to give as an input. So let's work on the form. We have an A10 form here, if you can see. So the trigger or new form event, correct? So we have to give the form title, we have to give the form description, we have to give all these values, right? So let's say it's a sales call logging form. Let's call it that, sales call logging form. And say this form, it logs the inputs of a sales call and then automatically generates a proposal. Uh, right? Once we have that, we have to also include your form elements and multiple form elements. All that, you have to have your first name, you have your last name, email, the problem statement, etc., etc. The multiple. So I'll again, in order to just save the time, I'll just show it to you. Okay, right. So if you have a look at this, I have the title, the form description, I have the first name, the last name, the company name, website, the problem, solution, scope, cost, how soon I want the output to be delivered, and the email. I have all these input values. Now, what I'll be doing is that I'll be showing you how it works also. Now let's remove the manual trigger. Let's attach a form submission to this. Okay. Now let's run this. I'll show it to you. I'll unpin it. Normally, you pin the data so that you don't have to give the values multiple times. So right now, I'll unpin it, show you how the form looks like, fill in the values, and show it to you how it works. Right? I have removed the pin, and I execute this step. Uh, yeah, yeah. I hope the form is visible to everyone.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. So this is how the form is going to look like. You have the first name, you have the last name, you have the company name, you have all these details here. So now all you have to do is you have to fill up these details, right? So yeah, let me quickly fill up those details. First name. First thing I'll do is the company name and the website, since that's what's most important. Company name, left click. This is an example. Okay. So then I have HTTPS left click.ai. I have the website name, and then I also give it the problem. The problem if you can see the problem they are facing, I'll just show it to you since it's not very clear here. Once I execute this, you'll be able to see how it looks like and what is the detail thing that I have here. Um, so you fill in the details, you have the solution, and then you have the scope as well. And for the cost, let's say 3525 or $3,500. How soon? Let's say 2 weeks. Just an example here. And then you give your email. I'll give my email right now. And I give my first name and last name, right? So you submit the form. Once you submit the form, let's come back here. I think there was been an issue in getting the form. Okay, that's all right. So since you understood how the form looks like, sometimes there's an error in getting the form if you're not typing it all correctly and all that. So right now I'll just show the form to you. I hope you understand how the form looks like, how you have to fill in the values. And once you click the submit button, what happens is that the first part gets executed, right? So once you have the first part executed, if you'll be able to see here, I guess the JSON format would be something that you can see clearly. You have the first name. Yeah, okay. The values, we got it. I have pinned the data also so that I don't need to run again and again. You have email, company name, website, problem, solution, if you want to see clearly. I don't know if it's clear. Yeah, okay. Yeah, if you can see, the problem is they're struggling to make YouTube videos. So you have your solution, you have your scope, right? So once you have all that, that is the input that will form here. Now, if you see the user input that we have here, before it was all red because it didn't get connected properly. So right now for the company name, this is what I've used. You just drag and drop it. If you don't need to remember how to write these variable names or how to write the syntax, you just have to do, all you have to do is drag and then drop, correct? So on the right side, you can see how it looks like. These are the values, these are the variables, and these are the values that I have. So for all these, I have filled in, correct? I have my user input, I have all the other prompts written, that's done. So now let's execute this. It'll take a few seconds since there's a lot of programming taking place in the background. That's it. So once you have that, you'll be able to see that all the variables, you've got all the variables and let's see. Okay, I think another important part is if you can see here in the output, the variables do not look very formatted, right? They're all under one curly brackets, they're all given. So when you going forward, if you send it to the next node, it won't be seen clearly. So if you'll see here, we have two toggles here, simplify output and output content as JSON. This is a very important thing. You might think there is something wrong, you messed up somewhere, but all you have to do is output content as JSON. Now, if we execute this, you'll be able to see the difference. Right. So if you can see, it's very clear. Under content, you have all your variables, you have all the milestones, the scopes, the solution. You have all these variables here, the cost, correct? So because I had given it an input and output structure, it generated all the values for me. So once you have this, I don't want to generate this again and again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pin this. Okay. Just give me a second. Let's leave it at this. Yeah. So once you have all this, I'm going to pin it because I don't want to execute again. So after you're done with that, now, like I showed you, I don't want to use, you cannot just use the same proposal template, right? So that will be overwriting on each person's proposal. So first you have to copy it create a new one, and then you replace the text. So for that, we go to Google Drive. You have an option. First one here, file actions, copy file. So you select from the list. You have a list of all these. It's always better to go with the ID. So you can select files by URL, by list, or by ID. So all you have to do is, I'm going to share this tab again. So when you come to this tab on the URL, uh, after presentation, there is a big value that's there. That is basically the slide ID. So once you select that slide ID, Google slide ID, all you have to do is come back here, you paste that here, and then you have to give it a file name, right? So if you don't know what file name you have to give, all you can do is, for easy remembrance, you drag and drop the proposal title. Much easier to remember, correct? So then you execute this. It'll again take a few minutes. So right now, I'll just show you. We have an ID here, right? I'm going to copy this, paste it there, and show how the proposal template was copied, and it has a new heading right now. Okay, we execute it, share this tab. Yeah. So now if you'll see, the only difference is all these are anyway the same thing. The only difference here, if you'll be able to see, is that the title has changed. It has become the proposal title, right? Meaning I have copied it successfully and created a new presentation. Now let's go back to our N8N platform. So you're done copying that. Let's pin this because I don't want to make multiple duplicates also. Once I'm done with that, after I'm done copying, then comes slides. Google Slides, you go there. If you'll see, there is an option here to replace the text in a presentation. This is a simple way, but a little time taking. So again, I'll just show you how we're going to deal with it. So here for the presentation ID, again, all you have to do is drag, drop, and then you have the presentation ID here. I have already connected with my account. And here, if you'll see, it has asked for two variables, search for and replace with, correct? So search for is basically those variable names that we had given there, like a proposal title, correct? We had given there the proposal. Again, we have to use fixed, not expression, because it is not dynamic. Then, but the replace text is dynamic. So you go back to your OpenAI output, and all you have to do is for the proposal title, you have to drag and drop it here, correct? And once you execute this, so similarly, you can do it for all the variables. I can either show that to you now, or I'll just show for two of them, and I'll just, so that you can understand what is exactly happening, correct? And then, okay, then I search for the next variable I have here is the description name. So I'll be changing that. Search for description name. Again, fixed is what I'll be using because it's the variable name is fixed. It's not dynamic. But in replace with, again, it's dynamic. Description name, drag and drop. I have that. Now you'll see that if I execute this, we'll go back to the PPT there. And instead of variables, you'll have your values there. Okay. So we come back here, share this tab instead. That's all. So instead of those variable names saying proposal title or description name, you have left click video assistant, AI script writing system for YouTube videos. So that's it. So you have your slide ready. Similar way, all you have to do is for all the variables that I have here, one paragraph problem summary, solution heading, description, all these variables you have to fill in our, yeah, in this replace text in a presentation in this particular node. For all the variables, you replace it, you drag and drop all these variables, and then that's it, you're done. After this, you can also going ahead, if you want to send it directly to the client, you go to Gmail. Again, there is a chance, like, AI can always go wrong, like it has some faults on its own, right? So if you don't trust it completely, you want to double check, Gmail has an option for human in the loop. So it makes sure that it first sends it to you, and only once you approve of it, you can send it ahead. So you have something called an option called, instead of send a message, you have send message and wait for response. So you choose that. So what this does is that it will send you the email first, and it will tell that if it's okay, then we go ahead, we approve it, correct? So it asks for the two. Now, if you remember, in my form, I had given my email. So I drag and drop it. And for the subject, you can choose the proposal title, I guess, right? You want, you can have a variable for that also. That is your wish. I have the subject. And for the message, you can write whatever you want. Hi, thank you for the call, and we have generated a proposal for you according to your needs. And all you have to do is, in the replace text presentation, if you will see, you have the presentation ID, correct? So you can just, okay, that's not going to work. Okay, yeah. All you have to do is here, you have to give this link here, and here in the presentation ID, again, this is dynamic. So you don't need to keep changing. You can write the message body however you want. And this, again, it will send by, like, it will keep changing. Whenever you change the presentation ID, accordingly, this changes. And I execute this response type. If you'll see, it's approval here. And on the right side and the output, it says waiting for input, correct? That means it's not done yet. If you'll see, it's still executing workflow. So let's go to my Gmail. I'll just show it to you. I hope you're able to see it. So I have the attachment here, and I have asked it approve or not. So once I click approve, I'll be able to send the proposal to them, correct? So now I click approve, and it's done. The email has been sent. If you will come back to the N8N, if you'll come back to the N8N platform, you'll be able to see approved true. That means it has been approved by you, and it has been sent forward also. So this is how you can do the whole proposal generator. This is how it works. All you have to do is, while you're on a sales call, uh, you make some notes, right? So the same way, just a few lines, problem, solution, and scope, you have them in. Once you're done with the sales call, you fill in these details, all these details, and then you click send in the form. And then that's it. It'll come to your mail, the ready proposal. And if you think that you need to come to N8N every time to do that, then no. All you have to do is you have to activate this. In the form submission, you have a production URL. You can access this form from anywhere. So you just, all you have to do is take this form, fill it up, and then it'll run it, and you'll get the proposal within minutes. If you see, it hardly took any time to generate. So yeah, that is it. If anybody has any questions before I go on to the last part, please do ask.
Malika, there's a question in the chat.
Yeah.
So it's the question is, can you make the slides private only to the user?
You mean read and write permissions?
I think view permissions also.
Uh, I mean, only the client can view it. Is it that?
So proposal only viewable by that user and no one else. Yeah, that's what he's saying.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You can do that in the permissions. Yes, you can do that.
And anyway, I think the proposal or the document only goes out to that user, right? To the person
Yeah,
who's
yeah,
supposed to approve it. So anyway, user won't have the others won't have access to that link.
yeah.
The question is, what if the user does not have Gmail account? Then yes, that could be a thing.
No, you can.
There is, yeah.
If they have an Outlook account, you also have an Outlook node here, Microsoft Outlook. So I think you can just send it through that. Yeah, you
Yeah,
can
for
just
the
send it.
slides, I think they may have to then use, say, something from the Microsoft ecosystem
Yeah. You can
instead
use
of
a
Google
yeah.
Slides.
Yeah. So this is in case of Google, but there are multiple nodes alternatives. So if this is not something, if they don't have a Gmail account, then you can change it. Yes. Oh yeah,
Can
you can
or
do
can
that
PDF?
also.
Yeah, okay.
You can just convert to PDF. You have options here in NA10. If that's not what you want, then extract form from there are multiple nodes that you can use. You can first convert it to PDF and send it ahead. Yeah, you can do that totally. I hope it is clear. Okay, thank you. MCP. Yeah, I can. We'll be covering that. We'll be having a webinar for that also. So in during that, I can just explain about MCP and a very small. We'll have a very small workflow also how it works. Since it's
Yeah, for
not a
today's webinar, yeah, we didn't think about adding MCP for today's webinar,
yeah
but we'll do another one. So we keep doing webinars every week. You can sign up, you can follow us as well, and
yeah
you'll get updates. Yeah.
you can follow us and then you can come to know when we do the webinar on MCP. Yeah, but we'll be doing it.
And I've also shared the link to our WhatsApp community, so you can join the community. We always announce our webinars in the community.
Yeah. Okay. So oh yeah, we'll be sharing that. We'll be uploading this to YouTube, the recording, and there we'll be attaching Gumroad our Gumroad account, and then you can just download for free from there. Yeah, just a quick thing. I guess everybody's leaving. I'll just quickly uh, cover this up also. So yeah, if you're wondering if you don't want to opt for a form there, what you can also do is that you can record your sales call and you can have that as an input. Like I showed you in the form, you can have another variable that takes the recording as an input. And then what you can do is from that recording, OpenAI has an option for getting the transcription of the recording. You can work that also, but it has its own pros and cons, I would say. When you have the recording, there is a chance that the accents or the pitch, the voice, the language, there can be a lot of variations. So in that place, maybe it might not be the best idea. But again, there is also it does not have like much effort. You don't need to remember, you don't need to draft the problem, solution, or scope. You can just use the sales call recording. But yeah, that is your option, whatever you want to use. But I'm just telling you that you have OpenAI has that option to get the transcription of the recording. It'll be time taking and might, based on the length of the sales call, it can also take up a lot of credits also. So yeah, these are the two types. And yeah, the final thing is that our upcoming webinar will be our Reddit agent. We have named it Snoozer. So what it does is it basically scrapes Reddit based on certain keywords and subreddits, filters them, formats them. We find the intent of the post, correct? And then we draft a comment according to that and then automatically post it as well. So it's a Reddit marketing without on autopilot, I would say. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. And the other links Varun has already sent in the chat box.
Yeah. Any questions? Questions, suggestions, anything, feedback, anything that you'd like to share? All right. I've shared the links to the feedback form and the community as well. And I've also shared links to our YouTube channel where you'll be able to see a recording of this in a couple of days. And the video in that recording, so the video will have the description. Sorry, the description will have the link to our workflow on Gumroad. So you'll be able to download it from there for free. So yeah, do subscribe to the channel so that you get an update whenever the recording is added there. And
Thank
yeah,
you. I think that
last.
will be really helpful. I had one question about whether are you going to share the recording, but good to know that you'll be sharing. Really appreciate that. Actually, I just wanted to understand. I'm upskilling myself on the AI things, right? I'm a full-time working in a software company. Just wanted to know, I just came across this Meetup app, and then I see a lot of these trainings are happening, right? How do you is it like how do you schedule one in Meetup? Is it anyone can schedule? Anyone on the Meetup can schedule this, and then anyone in the Meetup ecosystem can enroll for this attend? Is that how it works?
So you need to have a meetup group. So like if you're an
Okay,
admin of a meetup group, you can create a meetup in that group.
okay,
So
understood.
meetup is
Thank you very much.
made up of different groups. You need to be
Different
like,
groups, right?
yeah, you need to have some groups, and then you can create the events or meetups in those groups.
Yeah, thank you very much. But I have not come to the NIT and yet automation, even though I work fully in the workflow automation, but that is a it's an enterprise area. It's a very well established 40-year-old company. But I think I'm really glad to see the new tools that have come in the last few years. They have a lot of capabilities. I think the enterprise software really need to catch up to reach this level of capability. Um, I'm glad to see these learning sessions are happening. Really appreciate the trainers.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks for joining. Okay. Yeah, Malvika, can you go back to the screen with the QR for the community?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's clicking.
There you go. I also shared the link in the chat. And to answer the question about rates for creating automation, we can get on a call, one-on-one call, so we can understand your requirements on automation, help you out to understand what's possible, what's not possible, and we can also share the rates for helping you out with automation. Ashok, I hope you got the QR scan from here. All right, yeah. Okay, any questions from anyone else? Oh, by the way, uh, for CLO, since you're asking about automation, we also have our team based in Singapore. So if you're based in Singapore, we can also do like an in-person meeting as well. In any case, I'll drop you an email and then we can discuss further.